Welcome to today's webinar, courtesy of the Kentucky Small Business Development Center in Louisville. Discover no-cost, valuable business services to help you thrive, whether starting your entrepreneurial journey or scaling your existing business. We have the resources and expertise to help you succeed. For more information, please visit our website or text 502-977-5800. Thank you for joining us today. Feel free to use the chat feature to ask questions or engage with our speaker. Let's get started.
Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to another Toolkit Tuesday. I'm so happy you took time out of your busy day to join us. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend and coworker, Janet Flaw. Hey, Janet, how's it going today?
Hey, it's going really well today. We've got quite a few presenters on this topic today, so I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's do it.
It's a big one. And as always, just to make sure that you guys can see and hear, so if you just put your name and where you're joining from in the chat there, so we'll get that all worked out. But if you have any questions or comments, just put them in the chat there, and we'll get right to it. I think that this is a great bit of information for you today. If you're a small business owner, driving traffic to your website is getting harder and harder every day. So glad you guys have joined. Let's see, we have Prila in Louisville. How are you? Here's Janet. Hey, Tom. Santa Monica. Nice. Love Santa Monica. Hey, Terry and Pavana from Louisville. Yeah, got a bunch of people. I can see you guys joining. Thanks for joining us today. Everyone's popping in. So again, this is a great opportunity for you to ask some really good questions specifically for your business and get them for some real experts. So we're always interested, Janet and I are always looking for people to bring information and things that drive traffic and sales to your website or your business is always top of mind. So I was happy to meet Colin and Aaron and the team, and they've agreed to come and share some information with you. So I'm going to let Harper kind of introduce the team and kind of start us off today.
Sweet, thank you so much. Happy to be here. Let's get started. So, hi everyone and welcome. We're excited to have you here today. And if you're watching this, chances are you're pretty focused on growing your business and getting better results from your online presence. And that's exactly what we're here to cover today. So, we're here to cover how to fix your website and turn traffic into sales. My name's Harper, and I'm here joined with Patricia, Zoe, Colin, and Aaron. And together we're here representing Moduet. We're a multilingual full-service digital marketing agency. And at Moduet, we help businesses grow through website development, SEO, branding, advertising, and marketing. And today we're focusing on the foundation of it all, which is your website. And because no matter how much traffic you generate, if your website isn't designed to convert visitors into customers, you're leaving a lot of opportunities on the table. And so in this session, we'll walk through the most common website mistakes, what high converting websites do differently, and practical steps that you can take to improve your results. So let's get started. Why most websites fail to convert. Let's start with the harsh reality. So for a lot of businesses, the problem isn't that nobody knows they exist, and the problem is not always traffic. Many of you may be getting website visitors right now, and you're running ads, posting on social media, writing blogs, but despite that traffic, you're struggling to generate leads, phone calls, purchases, or booked consultations. And why is that? Usually it actually comes down to friction. So your site might have a confusing layout, slow load speeds, or weak messaging, or maybe there's no clear call to action. The key takeaway here is vital. So driving traffic without a conversion strategy is essentially just wasting your marketing dollars and you're pouring water into a leaky bucket. What a high converting website actually does. So if that's the problem, what is the solution? I want you to change how you look at your website. Your website shouldn't just be a digital brochure. It should function as your best 24/7 sales representative. And a strong website does a lot of that heavy lifting for you. It builds trust the second a user lands on it, and it explains exactly what you do. It answers customer objections before they even have to ask, and captures leads efficiently. If you look at the conversion path at the bottom of the screen, users start at awareness, then trust, then action, and finally revenue. And if your website drops the ball at interest or trust, your revenue tends to take quite a large hit there, and they might never get there. So, first impressions matter. How much time do you think you have to guide a user down that path? And if you answered minutes, that's actually incorrect. You have seconds. Users judge your website almost instantly, and in the blink of an eye, visitors are assessing your design, quality, branding, how fast that site loaded, and if it works well on their phone. Look at the red box. So if your website looks outdated, it feels cluttered, it takes too long to load, your potential customer is gone. They'll hit the back button or go to your competitor before they even read a single word of your text. And first impressions aren't just about vanity. They're ultimately your gatekeepers to your revenue. So the homepage formula. Let's talk about the most visited page on your website, your homepage. There's a psychological formula to a homepage that actually converts that traffic. And we like to refer to above the fold, which is what users see before they scroll down. And in this page, you absolutely must have a clear headline, a brief statement of what you do and who you help, and a strong button, also referred to as the call to action. This isn't just advice, this is what search engines are evaluating when they crawl your site, and it supports a strong SEO. Once they scroll below the fold, that's where you back up your claims. So that's where you can add your services overview, testimonials, portfolio, and FAQs. And if you remember nothing else from this slide, remember this box at the bottom, which is the split second someone lands on your site, they need to know, what do you do? Why should I trust you? And what should I do next? Messaging that converts. So answering those questions requires great copywriting, and we need to use non-generic phrases in this. So if you look at the weak messaging, the example is, we provide high quality services. It sounds nice, but it means absolutely nothing, not only to your visitors on your site, but also to search engines. And your competitors are probably saying the exact same thing. Now, if you look at the strong messaging, it says, we help businesses generate more leads through SEO, web design, and digital advertising. It's hyper specific. This doesn't just help your customers or your visitors on your page. It also helps search engines understand that your company does this and who to push your website out to. And great messaging focuses on the customer's problem and how you solve it. It avoids confusing industry jargon and speaks directly to the person reading it. The intention here is to be clear and not to be clever. So clear call to actions, or as we like to say, CTAs. Once you have their attention with great messaging, you have to tell them what to do. And this is your call to action, or CTA. You can't afford to be passive. You want a strong action-oriented language. So some examples would be schedule a free consultation, request a quote, book a demo. There's a strong emphasis on verbs here. Schedule, request, book. We don't just want a tiny gray button that says submit. You want to use contrasting colors for these buttons to make them really pop off the screen. And you want users to see that very clearly. And throughout the page, you want to have these buttons or these CTAs. So when the user is finally convinced, the button is right there waiting for them. And if they have to guess how to buy it from you, they probably won't. So even if they're scrolling down to the FAQ or if they're going to a separate page, you want those CTAs to remain visible and accessible for when they're ready to follow through. Mobile optimization. So next, let's talk about mobile. And depending on your industry, 60 to 80% of your traffic is actually looking at your website from a smartphone. Having a mobile-friendly site is not optional at all. But mobile-friendly means more than just shrinking your desktop website into a small screen. In fact, that's the opposite of what you want to do. It means the text is highly readable without zooming in. It means buttons are large enough to be easily clicked with a thumb. It means forms don't require endless typing on your phone on a small screen. If your mobile experience is poor, your bounce rates actually will skyrocket, and Google will actually penalize your SEO rankings. You're losing a lot of leads in this area if you're not optimizing for your phone, actually optimizing the mobile site itself.
Okay, and speaking of technical optimization, excuse me, let's talk about website speed and performance. So slow websites lose revenue. That's a fact. Speed impacts everything. It impacts user experience, where you rank on Google, and heavily impacts your conversion rates. Usually, slow sites suffer from a few common problems, like uploading massive uncompressed image files, cheap and weak hosting, or bogging down a WordPress site with excessive plugins. Moreover, we optimize the site. When we optimize the site, we compress those images, we upgrade the hosting environments, and we clean up the code. Stripping away milliseconds of load times directly correlates to adding dollars to your bottom line. SEO that drives conversions. Okay, so now let's shift gear to SEO, or search engine optimization. SEO gets a lot of buzz, but I want to clarify something. SEO is not just getting to the #1 spot on Google, okay? Good SEO is about attracting qualified leads, and qualified leads is the keyword here. It's about matching user intent. If you rank #1 in a keyword, but people searching that keyword are looking for free information and you are trying to sell a premium service, they are not going to buy. Imagine you own a fine dining restaurant. You manage to rank #1 on Google for cheap food near me, let's say. Thousands of people will visit your website. They'll look at your menu. They'll see your entries cost $40, $50 and leave. Now imagine you rank for best restaurants for an anniversary dinner or fine dining restaurant in Louisville. You might get fewer visitors, yes, but you will get far more reservations. All this requires technical SEO, deep keyword searching, and on-page optimization. But the lesson here, SEO isn't just about attracting the most traffic. It's about attracting the right traffic. And all this brings us to landing pages. So let's talk about landing pages that actually work. If you're running ads, advertisements on Google's, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., sending that traffic to a generic homepage is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Our traffic should go to a dedicated landing page. A high converting landing page strips away the navigation menu and removes any distraction the user might find. It has one focus objective, highly specified messaging that matches the ad that your user just clicked, and a very strong call to action. Remember that you are actually paying for those clicks, so don't drop them into the maze of your homepage. Guide them down straight to the frictionless path to check out or contact you. Trust is everything. All right, let's say your website is fast, is mobile friendly, and it has great copy. Great. The next barrier of conversion is trust. So people buy from businesses they trust, especially on the internet. You must prove that you are legitimate. And how do we do that? Through trust building elements. Embed your Google reviews directly on your site, use real client testimonials, and showcase detailed case studies. If you have industry certification, display those badges, you earned them. Show real photos of your team, of your product, but try to avoid cheesy, stocky photography whenever possible, of course. And remember, the statistics here are incredibly important. Customers trust proof, which is what, or social proof, which is what people think about you, infinitely more than what you say about yourself. Branding impacts conversions. Trust goes hand in hand with branding. Branding directly impacts your conversions. Effective branding gives you immediate credibility. A professional logo, consistent use of colors, and a clear, unified voice tell the user, we are a real high-quality operation. Conversely, weak branding creates distrust. If your website looks like it was thrown together in 2010 with mismatched fonts and blurry images, the user subconsciously assumes your products or services are also low quality. So always remember, branding equals perception, and perception dictates whether or not they pull out their credit card. Automation and lead capture. Once they are ready to convert, we need to ensure they don't slip through the cracks. This is where automation and lead capture come in. A smart website is connected to a CRM, or customer relationship management system. When someone fills out a form, they shouldn't just get a generic thanks page while you take 3 days to email them back. You need automated email sequences, appointment scheduling calendars, and maybe even SMS follow-ups or chat support. Automation increases your response time dramatically, and in the digital world, the first business to respond to a lead is usually the one that wins the job. Analytics and tracking. Of course, none of these improvements mean anything if you can't measure them. Analytics and tracking show us exactly what needs improvement. You need tools installed on your website. Google Analytics, Google Search Console, heat maps to see where people are clicking, and dedicated conversion tracking. We watch metrics like the bounce rate or how many people leave without clicking anything. We track the conversion rate, session duration, and where your best traffic is actually coming from. So if you're making changes to your website without tracking the data, you aren't optimizing, you're just guessing, and guessing gets really expensive. Common website mistakes. So to recap this section, let's look at why businesses lose customers online. Here are the major red flags we see every day when auditing websites. There's no clear messaging, slow loading pages, poor SEO that brings in the wrong people, generic stock content that looks fake, being bombarded by too many pop-ups the second they land, complicated forms that ask for too much information, weak branding, and no automated follow-up system. Every single one of these items is a friction point. Every small piece of friction chips away at your conversion rate, losing you potential revenue every single day.
You're on mute there, Colin. I think you're muted.
My apologies, everyone. Okay, so here we go. So this is how Moduet helps businesses grow. If you're looking at that list and feeling a bit overwhelmed, just take a breath. That's exactly why Moduet exists. We provide a full service digital marketing solutions design specifically to eliminate that friction. We handle the website design and development, the SEO, the branding, all the way through to paid ads, content creation, and setting up your CRM automations. Our mission isn't just to make your pretty website. Our mission is to build digital systems that generate measurable, undeniable business growth. And here's our optimization process. And how do we do it? We use a 4 proven step optimization process. Step 1 is the audit. We look under the hood, we test your speed, analyze your user experience, and evaluate where you are currently losing conversions. Step 2 is strategy. We map out your funnel, target your audience, and upgrade your messaging. And then step 3 is the implementation. This is where our developers and designers get to work building out your redesigned site, optimizing your SEO, and setting up your automations. And finally, step 4 is ongoing CRO, or conversion rate optimization. We monitor the performance, run A/B tests, and make continuous improvements based on real data. So here are some of the results that businesses can expect. When you go through this process, these results really transform your business. You'll stop wondering why traffic isn't buying. You start seeing more leads and sales. And this is because your page converts better. Your cost to acquire a customer through paid ads actually drops, and you provide a better customer experience, building incredible brand authority, and ultimately see a much higher return on investment. So when optimized correctly, your website stops being a digital business card and becomes your most powerful revenue generating asset.
Aaron, I think you're on mute also.
How's that?
That's much better.
Okay. Thanks, David. As we wrap up, we want you all to leave with these final takeaways. Your website must work for your business. Remember, driving traffic is not enough if the traffic does not convert. The website's design heavily impacts user trust. The website's messaging is what actually persuades people to connect and convert. SEO and user experience have to work hand in hand. You must prioritize the mobile experience. I don't know if we can stress that enough. And finally, optimization is never truly done. It's always an ongoing process, especially the way technology and AI is moving today. The ultimate goal is to turn those anonymous visitors into paying customers consistently and predictably. We want to thank you all so much for joining and listening today. At Moduet, we're always here to help businesses evaluate their online presence, identify opportunities for improvement, and discuss what may be missing from their digital strategy. So at this time, we'd love to open up the floor for any questions.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity to have get some good questions from specifically what you're facing these days. So just put them in the chat there, and we'll get those answered for you. Let me ask you guys this: do you have a favorite CRM that you guys like to link to?
We do. So well, I guess it depends on the organization. From a CRM standpoint, for small to medium businesses, you can do it through your own system itself. We have clients who are on HubSpot. We have clients who use Salesforce. As you grow, that's where we see the hurdle. You want to make sure that what you get into can scale with you, and you don't have to a year to 3 years go through the entire process again when it comes to a CRM. Now, for nonprofit organizations, it's a little bit different because there are CRMs out there that are specifically designed to engage with your constituents. eTapestry, Blackbaud, Razor's Edge, those are a lot of the mainstreams. But if you look at Bloomerang, it's very, very affordable. It works with small nonprofits who are just getting launched, and it will scale with you.
On that same topic on CRMs, give me a sequence that you would recommend. Let's just say I'm a landscape, lawn service, and somebody comes to looking for a lawn service. I mean, what would be the best advice for that sequence going forward? If they hit on the call to action.
Yeah, and I don't think we should limit the CRM to these larger software programs, especially if the goal here is to drive them to your website. Start with WordPress. If you are that lawn business, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to make sure you have a domain registered and you have a website secured. We recommend WordPress. But also focus on your Google business listings, your Bing listings, any online listings that you have, make sure that they're updated so that they're driven appropriately. And like Zoe said before, we can measure that growth or that connection. But then once they're on your website, if you're using something like WordPress, it has built-in CRM capabilities. So right off the bat, you have your website, you have your CRM, and you're able to connect with potential clients through that.
Okay. Got it. So normally if someone comes, I mean, what's the best practice you guys see once you get, that whole process? What do they want to see? They click the button, the call to action. What happens next?
I think it depends on the business. I'm going to use your lawn business again as an example. Chances are, if they're coming to your website or they're meeting you through Google My Business, you're going to want them to either fill out a very simple form or click a number to call you.
Mhm.
And whatever those interactions are, you want to make sure you have something in place to follow up. So if it's a form fill and it gets submitted, don't wait a day, don't wait 2 days. You can either work into an auto response that engages with them immediately, or you can follow up with them within the hour or two with a phone call. If it's a click to call, then you want to make sure you have something in place where you can answer that call and it doesn't get forwarded to a voicemail. That's going to be the number one um, wall between you and a potential client is if they call and they don't get an answer, they're going to go right back to Google. They're going to search for the next person or the next company until they get somebody who they can connect with.
Yeah, I have one of those fears. Like I have the big fear of the contact me button black hole. That I do that and then nothing ever happens. That's why I'm so kind of interested in that.
Yeah.
The other thing that bugs me just now that I'm throwing it out there is, let's say I don't like the contact me button. I don't want to do that.
Right.
I can't find a phone number on the webpage half the time.
Yeah. As was mentioned earlier, you want to make sure your CTAs, your calls to action, are in front of the person as soon as they're in front of your listing. Um, Chances are when they come to their website, they may or may not scroll or engage in multiple pages and just to find a contact information.
Mhm.
If you don't have your phone number at the top, along with a button that says, click now to connect, or you don't have an online chat where someone can engage with you instantly, yeah, it'll be a deterrent if they have to search for it. Chances are they're only going to search for contact details if they know they have to contact you for a pre-existing reason. If
Mhm.
they don't, then they're going to get frustrated or their attention span is going to diminish and they're going to go on, move somewhere else.
Yeah. Thomas says, "Hey Thomas, how are you?" He says he's getting traffic, but no conversions. How does how does he get a better return rates? And then he's like, how much would this cost if you guys were to help him out?
Yeah, and that's a question that we get pretty consistently with small businesses that we're talking to about potential issues that they're running through or they're trying to identify how to resolve. The biggest thing that we see when a website is getting ample amount of traffic with low to no conversions, first thing we're going to go to is what's the traffic? Is the traffic legit? Is it bot traffic that you're
Mhm.
attracting for various reasons? Is it legit traffic, but they're having a hard time understanding either how to engage or why they should engage? Answering those two questions off the bat is your first line of defense. Now, what we'll do is we'll sit down with any business or organization, and we'll do an audit for them at no charge, where we can look at their website, we can look at their online presence, and we can identify areas of opportunity. And that is a good example of an area that maybe a business already knows is an issue, and we can add that to our focus points to identify, okay, if traffic's coming in, why isn't it converting? And then that audit will give them a lot of information to go off of. And then they can decide if that's something that they want to address on their own, or if they would like a team like Moduet to help them and walk them through how to rectify that. There's also other things to be mindful of, and that's something just as simple as website hosting. You may not have a quality website host that gives you proper load times, or allows a user to visit the website in various conditions. That's something that also comes out of an audit. And sometimes it's just as easy of, hey, let's just switch your hosting company. It'll increase your load times and increase your user engagement.
Awesome. Are there ways that that people can check their website? Is there like some software, some websites that you can take a look and see how that works?
Yeah, the first thing I would recommend is use Google's Page Insights. I mean, Google's going to be indexing your site, and it's going to determine its worth as from a search standpoint, as also from an AI standpoint. And they have a tool called Page Insights, and if you use that, it's free. You just put the URL in there. It'll take a few seconds to draw up your report, and it divides that report between desktop and mobile. And it's going to show you the mobile report first, and it will identify areas of opportunity that's limiting you. It'll put a grade score against it, and it will show you how mobile may be doing worse than desktop, which is one thing that we talked about. I mean, the number one traffic source right now is mobile across the entire internet. It's been that way for several years. But we all work in an office environment, and so we are used to seeing that desktop version. We think everything's fine until someone pulls out their phone or their tablet.
Right. Is there is there that the you were mentioning Google, there's kind of a issue with Google these days with the AI answers pushing everything down below. Is there a way around that, or how do you deal with that?
Yeah. I think what you're getting at is a term that we call generative engine optimization. So 5 years ago, SEO really focused on the content of your website, the optimization of your website, how quickly it serves up content, if your images are optimized. And it had all different other factors, as well as, like, are you cross-linking with other websites? Does your information match what they're saying? And that would lift you into the search results. Well, now with generative engine optimization, also answer engine optimization, you might hear these terms, and it's abbreviated as GEO and AEO. Those feed into SEO today. And so when you use Google, you use Bing, if you use ChatGPT or Claude, they're using information that's put out there through modern SEO abilities. Now, we say SEO, search engine optimization, but that's going to encompass those AI techniques, which means your website or any content that you're putting out there is indexed in a way that GEO and AEO can crawl that information, compare it with other information that's out on the internet, and then search engines like Google or AI tools like Claude will interpret that and share that with the user. It's always important to see what is being referenced in those results as well, and to click those links, because until you click those links, you don't have 100% true answer. And AI is still at a point where it's learning and it doesn't always get it right. But the good thing is what we're doing for our clients, and when we audit their SEO, is we want to make sure that they're going to show up in those environments and be able to, show up in a way that a user is going to click on that link or get the information they want.
Mhm. Janet asked, what types of AI tools would you recommend on your website and what types would you avoid?
It's a good question. First and foremost, I'll say this: our entire team, we've embraced AI. We think it's a wonderful opportunity, especially for small businesses. It produces a lot of efficiency. It cleans up a lot of administrative headaches, and that's where we first tell small businesses to focus. When it comes to your website, there are a lot of AI tools out there, and there might also be AI integrations with the tools that you're using already. For example, if you have an online store and you're using Shopify, Shopify already has a great AI assistant that you can use on the back end, but it can also be used on the front end for customer facing conversations. Start there, start with the native AI tools that are given and see if that produces the results that you want. There are other tools out there that will help you when it comes to chat. For example, WordPress has a nice tool that you can install, and it installs a chat bot that you create AI-driven flows for. And that lets you kind of run your business while someone comes to the site, starts having a conversation before they actually have to get you in front of that conversation. There are some businesses here in town that we've tested out that type of interaction, and then we've taken it and put it into a call center as well. So we've tested with an HVAC company where the chat bot that's on their website is also carrying on the conversation if they were to call. So there's shared information there. I don't think that there are necessarily any AI tools that I'm going to say today don't use. I'm going to leave that up to the business to determine, like, hey, is this effective? Like, is this helping my business or is this a hurdle? If it's a hurdle, then, move on to something else or seek out some advice and some guidance. Like, am I using this properly? I thought I could just, sit in front of, Claude and tell it what I wanted and it would give me the correct results. You always want to have that human interaction no matter what. Even the AI tools that we use internally from an administrative standpoint or from an SEO standpoint, we want that human interaction so that we can determine, is this legit? Is this really giving us a real world scenario that we can utilize for this company?
Thank you. That was a good answer. Here's a simple question. Maybe you can clear up for everyone is what's the difference between a web page and a landing page?
A web page and landing page are one and the same. The difference is when we say landing page, we are focusing on a campaign or a conversion for that page. Your homepage could be your landing page. You may only have one page on your website. It's your homepage, nothing else. Maybe there's a navigation at the top. When we click the navigation, it jumps down to that appropriate section within that page. But if you're driving traffic to that, then you need to look at that as that's the landing page. Sometimes we'll do a campaign for a client and we realize we can't drive them to the home page. We can't drive them to the contact page. We need to drive them to a page specifically surrounded around this campaign. And so we'll make a landing page that you wouldn't find within the navigation, but we can utilize it specifically for a campaign that maybe we're running an email marketing event for them. And within that campaign, they get directed to that landing page.
Cool. Thank you. Folks out there, if you have any questions, now's the time to throw them in the chat. So I'm getting all my questions answered today. So, what would you say would be, if you were to give someone starting out, because we do work with a lot of people that are just starting. What would you say would be the first 3, 4, 5 steps that you would want them to take when they want to launch into their web presence?
So my internet skipped just a little bit. I didn't hear that last part.
I mean, for a startup, what would be the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 steps you'd recommend someone to start, pushing their business into
Oh,
on the web, and what would be the strategy there? What would they be looking
yeah.
for?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, secure your domain. If you don't already have one, that's going to be the cheapest investment you're going to make. If you're spending more than $20 on your domain, let us know. There are ways around that, but $20 a year for your domain, you got that locked in, and you can grow from there. You want to make sure you have a quality email service set up. A lot of new businesses will directly go and just use Gmail, or they'll use their Yahoo account. It's fine right at the very start, but once you have that domain registered, the next thing you need to focus on is getting a quality email that has at yourdomain.com. If you're using aaronbacon@gmail.com for your business, it doesn't give you authority at the start.
Mm-hmm.
As you grow and you go to, let's say, a month after you get started, you're ready to register with Google My Business or with Bing, the first thing that they're going to flag is your email. So if you're registering and you want to list your business email as aaronbacon@gmail.com instead of aaronbacon@moduet.com, Google's going to flag you. They're not going to consider you authentic. They're not going to establish you as authority in your business because you're not using a business or organization formatted email. So once that email's taken care of, and there's a lot of ways that you can do that. Chances are where you register your domain, you can set up email, or where your website is hosted. Moduet, we do all of that. We can register your domain. We can secure an email right off the bat, and we can secure your hosting right off the bat. Even if you don't know what you're going to do with your website, that's fine. That's one of the areas that we can scale with you. Like maybe you're just putting up a one-page website, or maybe you have an existing website, but you need that all consolidated where your domain, your email, and your website are all together. Once you have that website established, then it comes down to making sure your online listings are accurate. Look at your social media. If you haven't created that already, make sure that you're set up with business accounts. Facebook and Instagram both will let you convert a personal account to a business account. We highly recommend that. Again, it gives you authenticity, it shows authority in your field. That's something that comes up a lot, especially when we're doing audits with existing organizations or existing businesses. Everything's tied to a personal account, and you need to separate that for the internet to really value you as a company.
Thank you. That's great. On top of that, so you get all that done, then what are some best practices that you recommend to drive traffic to your site, using social media? How do you connect that?
The free ways, which everyone's going to want to know, like what can I do that doesn't cost me money?
Mm-hmm.
Engage regularly with your audience. If you have a social media platform that you prefer, let's go back to the lawn care business that you gave earlier. Instagram is a great platform for those businesses. Facebook's another great platform because you're connecting directly with the consumer. and you can put up daily posts about the company. You can do, before and after lawn shots. You can talk about how to take care of your lawn. You can do educational or continuing educational pieces that gives them the opportunity to understand that you have authority in mowing lawns, and you have the authority in landscaping, but do it consistently and regularly. If you decide you're going to commit to post to social media once a week, you better do it once a week consistently, week over week. Don't skip that. Now we will say, especially for newer businesses, ramp that up. If you can get to a goal where you're posting online daily, that would be exceptional for you, and consistently doing that. And then look at other creative outlets as well. I mean, TikTok has done amazing things for small businesses and for nonprofit organizations because it lets you be transparent, and that's what people want today. That's what consumers want today. That's what constituents want. They want to engage with like-minded individuals that they can connect with and understand. They don't want just, a digital page with a form. They want to know who is going to be reading that form, or they want to know who's going to be picking up the phone call. And those are all simple but dedicated ways that you can help your organization for free. And then when it goes beyond that, when you decide like, hey, like, okay, this is working, but we've brought in some money, or we've set aside some money for marketing. Should we run an ad campaign? Should we run it on social media? Should we run it on Google? That's where it would be a huge benefit for you to sit down with a team like Moduet, because we can tell you, yeah, like, this is a great opportunity. We can identify, should you put that money towards Google, or should you put it towards Facebook? For someone like a lawn care business, we would probably take a look at Google Local Services, which works off of the Google ad system, but it focuses on local connections. And it really does well connecting a consumer with a local business, such as a lawn care. And it's affordable. A lot of times we can reduce what they may think they're going to put towards it. We may say, hey, you don't need to put that much. Like, we could lower it. But yeah, I think it would be helpful for them. Like, don't just throw money at Facebook. Don't just throw money at Google. They're going to tease you with, hey, if you put in $500 now, we'll give you another X amount that you can use. But you need to have a little understanding of how that's being utilized and how that's being used, so that you're just not throwing that money away.
Mhm. Yeah, that reminds me of something that I generally try to adhere to and tell people about. But when you're doing anything, or launching, or even trying to grow a business, you don't know everything. So you need to surround yourself with people that know what they're doing in their field, that can help you achieve your goals. So you guys are great resources is what you do. You guys don't cut grass. So if I'm a lawn care guy, I want to focus on grass cutting and find somebody that can help me do the
Right.
other stuff I need to get done. So
Yeah.
Thomas has one more question here. He says, right now I have Webador as my web host. Is this a good host?
I'll tell you this from my, personal comparison. I've never heard of Webador. So if it works for you, great. But I've been in this business for over 20 years. We've had Moduet since 2012, and it's rare that I come across web hosts that we haven't heard of. They're out there. My first question would be, what's the reliability? Is your website loading okay? What's their customer service experience like? If you have to, reach out to them for a technical issue, or you find out like, oh, my website's not loading, I don't understand why, and you have to reach out to them. What's the turnaround? Are you talking to a person? Those are some things that I always question, because we see that from smaller hosting companies or agencies to GoDaddy. The biggest concern that businesses have is they don't understand what's going on with their website. They don't understand who they're talking to. Sometimes they don't even know where it's hosted. We would love the opportunity to show you the benefits of working with a local company. We compete at a level where we host better than GoDaddy. Our uptimes and our scores are better. Our rates are better. When it comes to WordPress websites, we compete with websites like or hosting companies like WP Engine and Flywheel. And a lot of that comes back to the customer support. I mean, the people that you see on the screen right now, that's who you're going to be connecting with if you email us or if you pick up the phone. And that gives them transparency. And it also gives us some accountability where we can tell you exactly what's going on. And our turnarounds are pretty quick too. So if you're waiting a day to 2 days for a support email to get fulfilled, I would suggest start looking around because our turnaround time is more hours. Or if you email in the morning, you will get a resolution by the end of the day. So take that into account. If your website is loading fine, what's the customer service experience like? Is it going to scale with you, or how much are you paying?
Mhm. Yeah. I was working with a client the other day, and I was just going to, I just Google while I was talking to her, I pulled up their website and it wouldn't load in. I got a 404 message, and
Mhm.
in her mind, she was wondering, she had reached out to me, well, why was business down? And, she had never thought to even check to see if her hosting company had let her down or whatever. So she relied on the internet to drive their sales.
So, if you all are not aware, Amazon does provide hosting services through a solution called AWS. And in the past year, it's gone down not once, but twice. And you may be working with a hosting company that uses AWS.
Ah,
So keep that in mind because
interesting.
AWS is essentially just a data center at this point, or for that hosting company. And so the hosting company may not be down, but their AWS system is, and they own a large part of the internet hosting environment. So you will see commercial websites go down, but then why is this small profit website also down? Well, it's using the same backbone in AWS. So
Interesting.
yeah. Mhm.
Interesting. Wow.
We do not. I guess I should have said that.
You should
But
probably
both times it
clarify that.
happened, we sent out an email to our customers and just basically like, aren't you glad you're not on AWS? So
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, this has been great. This has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy day. I know you guys are just slammed, and I really appreciate you sharing with everybody. This is such a big topic, but I think sometimes it just kind of puts on the back burner. You just think I'll throw up a website and I'll make tons of money. It just doesn't seem to work that way.
yeah,
So,
I really appreciate the time. I know our team appreciates this as well, and because we're also a local business, we do appreciate the transparency. And so I said it at the beginning, but I'll say this again. If you have any questions and you want us to do that free digital analysis, don't hesitate to reach out. We would love to do it. It takes about an hour. We'll ask some questions. We'll talk about some issues that you might be facing. Then we'll take a few days to do our report, and then we'll present it to you. We'll give it to you, and it'll show you areas of opportunity. It'll show you our recommendations, and it might even justify some things that you're already doing so that you can feel better, like, hey, I did set this up correctly, or the fact that I am focusing on this email marketing campaign, this is what I should be doing right now.
yeah. So Harper just put the email that you can hit up Moduet. So conversations are great. So I recommend you have one with somebody who knows what's going on, and so you can help you move the goals forward that you want to hit. And it's always best bringing in an expert when you can. So thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. This has been spectacular. And maybe we'll have you guys back on a couple months and we can continue the conversation. I'm sure everybody would like that.
Yes,
Yeah,
thanks so much
sounds
for
great.
having
Thank you for the opportunity.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Janet, thanks for driving the ship as always. And everyone, have a good Tuesday. Let's see. Do we have a survey today, Janet?
We'll be sending out a survey in a couple of days through a separate email, but we'll also be getting the slides from the team here and do a follow-up with those in the recording and contact information for them. So look for those two things.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you. And we will see you next week on another Toolkit Tuesday. Have a great Tuesday. See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.